SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. I am Steve Azar, reminding you that my pals over in Macon, Mississippi produce the catfish. Homegrown here. Go to superiorcatfish.com. There's catfish. There's superior catfish. And remember, man, visit Mississippi.org. So many wonderful things that celebrate our glorious state. Plan a road trip and tell them I sent you. All right, today's guest has become a very dear pal of mine and my wife Gwen's, as well as so many of our Delta Soul celebrity golf and charity event patrons down here at our foundation's premier annual event in the glorious Mississippi Delta. A giver, a giver, a giver to not only our foundation, but to so many worthwhile causes in his native Kentucky neck of the world. Generosity runs thick in his veins, is built in his family's DNA. Shout out to his brother, Rick. What's up, Rick? Today's guest, the co-owner with his bro of Clark's Pump and Shop, Inc. It was established all the way back in 1976 by his dad, the visionary John W. Clark, with one convenience store in his hometown of Westwood, Kentucky. Fast forward to the 90s, Clark's Pump and Shop grew to 18 locations purchased from his dad, John, by his three boys, Rick, their beloved yet so missed late brother Rodney, along with today's guest. The company was expanded through the group acquisitions in central Kentucky and a new store construction throughout the tri-state area and Florida. Fast forward to 2019, Clark's Pump and Shop now operates 67 convenience stores in Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and Florida, and their home office is in Ashland, Kentucky. Their stores in these communities provide jobs for over 700 hardworking folks in 4 states. Being a family-owned business, they take great pride in the service and support we provide, or they provide, in their surrounding communities. I feel like family. They also want to ensure an exceptional customer experience with a clean, well-lit, and fully stocked store that supports the company's vision so customers will get the triple threat. That is return, refresh, and refuel. Also, in 20 locations, because Brent's the best, my signature Bloody Mary mix, I don't have to be meat on Monday, is standing tall. He helped us with creating displays that we have running through Mississippi now, and we love him so much. Recently at the Ole Miss Kentucky game, which they did not gloat at all. They were very, very respectful. But we were at my pals Neil and Paige Suarez, Dr. Neil Suarez's, after the game that night, and I asked Brent about the history of their business, and I was glued to him, and I think we talked about this for a couple hours. Just felt like this story had to be told. It's the American dream via Kentucky, and I love this guy. So let's welcome in president and co-owner of Clark's Pump and Shop, my pal, Brent Clark.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be here with you.
How we doing, pilot?
We're doing good. We're got a little sunshine in Kentucky today, and we're doing well.
Y'all got a lot of sunshine going on in Kentucky at Romp Arena, because let me just start with this. I saw this today. Kentucky currently has 6 players averaging double figures. This has not happened since way back in 1995-96. with the team with 5 guys averaging 9.9 points a game. So you have Oway, is that how you say it? 15.7.
Right.
Butler's got 15.1. Robinson 12.5. I'm going to do the math and see if I can add it up while I'm talking to you, Brent. Bray's got 12.2. Carr 10.9. Williams 10.2. I think that's 76.4, 76.6. Somebody do my math for me and see if I'm right. But the bottom line is, have you seen a Kentucky team like this? That's 6 guys scoring over 76 points a game, Brent. And I know you're a huge supporter of the Wildcats, huge fan. How you feeling about the season?
Well, right now it's really exciting for the first time in about 7 years. And, I think he's got a great mix. Coach Pope is hitting all the right buttons right now. The season's early, of course. There's a ton of really good teams out there if you watch Auburn play at all.
Yeah.
And Tennessee as well, and Florida. Of course, Duke, even though we beat them, they're going to get better and better and better. I think we have, honestly, a lot of growth left. It's just December. We've not even stepped into the SEC yet, so we've already had a lot of tough games. And I think with the maturity of our kids and the staff that we have, and just the momentum, I think right now that Pope has created, I think, the Cats can, I think they still have 70% of growth,
Wow.
and it's just so different watching them play as opposed to what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Kids we've seen in the past, they're extremely talented, but they're freshmen and they're straight out of high school. You watch our kids screen and cut, backdoors, it's experience, and you don't see that with freshmen.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do all that. You can't teach them in 2 months how to do that stuff.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time between the time they arrive on campus and when they start trying to figure out how to gel as one unit. I know Calipari had a good way of getting those guys playing better toward the end. And I know he's at Arkansas now, but this seems to be a little bit more of a better recipe for the way the NIL and the portal and everything's working. It seems like he's very in touch with these guys.
Yeah, and I guess there's got to be, Coach Cal did a great job at Kentucky, of course, but I think this is, like you just said, the right recipe for now. That you've got to get the portal, you got to get the 4-year guys. Mm-hmm. Throw in maybe one 5-star when you can get them and mix it in, but they still don't have that experience. Of course, the kid from at Duke, you could throw him anywhere in, and he could play with any team. You know what I mean?
Flag. What's his name?
Flag,
Cooper. I mean, listen, he got to work out with the Olympic team and work out with those guys. That's got to be life changing, right?
Yeah, but that's just a different level. That's I would probably take, honestly, our 8 guys over one of him, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. Look, proof's in the pudding. Your guy off the bench is coming and averaging double. And usually if that's the case, which that's not so unusual, right? You usually have a shooter that can come in and change things up and all that. Your 3-point specialist, et cetera, that doesn't get as many minutes, but is obviously gets a lot of quality in percentage wise and all that. But to have your 5 guys in front of him do the same thing, and you're not talking about 10 points, 15, 12. I mean, this is really, really impressive. You and I haven't even talked at all about what I had you on for. This is what happens when we have a conversation. But we'll get to it in a second. I do want to say this, that Ole Miss and State are looking really good. They look very solid. They're both ranked now. They are playing tough as nails. And so I can't wait to see us all play each other and see how all that evolves. But the SEC, man, it's crazy. Alabama as well.
Yeah, it's going to be, for these SEC teams to go out on the road and play, I mean, and for them to come to Rupp Arena and play, I mean, back the last 5-6 years, every team that came into Rupp, I didn't care who they were. We felt like we could lose.
Wow, bro. That's interesting.
Now, we feel like Rupp's
you got your home court advantage back, right?
Yeah.
Rupp was always
just the excitement, and it was time. It was time for the change. But the SEC is going to be a gauntlet. I mean, when you go on the road, these kids have never experienced it either. Even though they're 4 and 5 year players, they're going to get drilled several times, and knocked down.
Yeah, I love it. Look, let's take a quick break. Brent Clark, President Clark's Pump and Shop. We'll be right back. Superior Catfish, homegrown in Mississippi. Visit Mississippi.org. Check it out.
I'm the waitress in LA, way past the prime, shoulder to shoulder, half of my line, I'm crowded.
You can now watch SuperTalk Mississippi on your YouTube, Roku, and on Amazon Fire devices. Plus, you can now watch SuperTalk TV live on C Spire TV Channel 70. Just go to supertalk.fm/connect to find out more.
Flying down that levee road.
Supposed to be talking about the American dream and Clark's Pump and Shops beginning to end, and that could take 42 Mississippi minutes, because what my guest today, Brent Clark, his brother Rick, and their late brother Rodney, who is, I could see the emotion in Brent's voice. I could feel it, hear it. And when he was telling me the story about how special he was to them, and our hearts and thoughts and prayers will always go out. Ever since I heard you tell me the story about that and losing your brother, I have kept you guys in my prayers in that regard. Superior Catfish, please, guys, store.superiorcatfish.com. It can be delivered to your house. That's how it happens. And visit Mississippi.org, the birthplace of America's music. My guest today, Brent Clark, has left more money for charities that support our foundation and that are benefited by our foundation than most I've ever seen. It's remarkable that he cares so much about what we're doing, and he didn't grow up here. And it means the world to us, Brent. Let's, for a second, talk about your love of flying. You don't just fly some crop duster, which is, by the way, that's the coolest thing in the world down here. I like my guys. I'm watching the guys fly over power lines, underneath them, trick flying and all that. But no, you grew up flying from a very young age, and or maybe not, but now you got your own jet. Tell me about that love for the air.
Yeah, I think I was just out of high school, and I was with my mom, and we were driving by this airport in Ohio, just right across the river in Chesapeake, Ohio. And basically I said, I think I'd like to fly. So we pull in there and meet a flight instructor, and he starts teaching me how to fly. And I was actually in his, I think, 4th wedding as his best man. Yeah. So we became great friends, and he took me through a couple of my first airplanes, of course, single engines, and then twin. And, Dad was always real supportive because I would fly him and Mom around, of course. We never had a problem flying family. A lot of people are, man, you and Rick shouldn't fly together, And Rick's always sitting in the back now going, well, what happens if something happens to you? I said, well, you're going to die. Yeah. We're going to die together. So, we're healthy for now. And through the years, we progressed. I talked Dad into buying a bigger airplane, and he would do it, and I would get like 10% of it, and just to have some ownership and care to it, things like that. And then we finally Rick and I bought a 414 twin engine, and that's probably been 7-8 years ago. And we flew that around for a while, and it did fine. It's pressurized air conditioning, but it was a 70, maybe an 81 model. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty old airplane. So then we've got a buddy we advertise with in Lexington that owns radio stations. He has a Premier One. So he would take us golfing. He was a member at Firestone and a couple other clubs. And he would take us and Sage Valley too. And
in Georgia. Yeah.
Aiken, isn't it? Aiken, South Carolina. And so anyway, I sit up there in that jet of his. I told Rick, I said, this is what we need. We need something like this. So we started shopping for a jet, and that's been up front in one except with Lynn. And so we bought one, and it took me probably a good 3.5 weeks to get type rated in it. Hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
I didn't go to college. I went 3 semesters and then decided, hey, I
go to work. Right. You want to build a family brand.
I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so, I built my way through every office we had, learned everybody's job. I knew what I was going to do. Because we started really young, all 3 of us, from the time we could stand on the front of a truck and clean the windshield and sweep them out for the drivers. We did that. We delivered oil. We delivered gasoline. We delivered diesel fuel. We just grew up in it. And
right.
I mean, summers, all of us and our buddies would paint the warehouse, paint the building. Every year, Dad would just do it to have us something to do when we were little. So, we grew up in it, and it's just something we've always known we were going to do. And I think Dad kept pushing and pushing because he knew that too. And, finally, I think 3 years ago, maybe going on 4 now, about this time of year, 3 years ago, I think Rick and I bought Dad out.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Dad's 83, and mobility's not fantastic, but he can still get up and care for himself, things like that. He's remarried probably 15 years now, like that. Mm-hmm. And she does a great job, takes care of him. And
that's awesome.
Dad still drives his truck around and comes in and goofs off a little bit with us.
Yeah, he's the brand. No matter what, he is the brand, right? He's the face.
And no matter what we get, where we go around here, they'll say, yeah, Johnny owns that store over there, or Johnny did this. That's a John Clark, and John this, and John. And I'm like, okay, that's fair enough.
I love it. Well, so let's talk about this, because at some point you're a fly on the wall. You're not just a fly on the wall. You guys, you and the brotherhood, you're experiencing every aspect of watching and being a part of every single element from the bottom all the way to the top, being president. So you understand the business. I mean, this is the old school grassroots, hardworking man way to get there to achieve the American dream. So you guys epitomize that. Clark's Pump and Shop. So you buy the place from your dad. Back up a little bit. We got a couple minutes left in the segment, and then we'll dig into the next. But your dad starts this place with one shop, and I want the whole enchilada if we can get this in about 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so he started a single store, and it was really back probably 81, and convenience stores were really just now getting going. Everything was a bay facility and a garage, check the oil and wiper fluid and full service, things like that. And Mom would run the store, and her sister also worked with her. And so it just kind of went from there. We went from store one, which is in our hometown, Westwood, just outside of Ashland here, to store 2 in Catlettsburg, which is up by the refinery. And then we went to store 3 in Greenock. And they were small stores at the time. And through the years, we just kept building those stores bigger because they were on really good property. And, then we go to store 4 and 5, and we always just named them, numbered them as we grew. And it'd just be one store here and there. We had and we still have the jobbership, which is a lot of store owners. They had their property and they wanted to do the C-store, but they didn't know anything about the gasoline. And it was still expensive, to put in. So we would go in and put in all the gasoline. So the tanks, pumps, canopy, register system, and lease the front from them and sell gasoline. They would sell our gasoline that we owned at their site. And every month we would pay them 50% of the profit of the gasoline. So we didn't have to buy the land. We didn't have to run the store. We just had to do all the gasoline.
Right.
Back in the day, we probably had 30 of those. And through the years, when those owners, either through a divorce or just as they got old and didn't have kids, they wanted to get out. And we would buy their property.
Acquire those stores. And next thing you know, the growth is starting to happen. Let's get to a quick break. Keep that thought. We're with my pal, Brent Clark, Clark's Pump and Shop. Really great friend of mine now, him and his brother Rick, and shout out to all the Kentucky bourbon drinkers, we call them. Special folks. Speaking of special, there's catfish, there's Superior Catfish. Please go to superiorcatfish.com, produced right here in Mississippi. What else should I say? And visit Mississippi.org as your music and culture ambassador, author of our state song. That's a great way to plan a family trip and fall in love with Mississippi.
Highway 61. Highway 61. Take me home I'm still trying to find my way
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Rolling into a Mississippi Minute with a Kentucky man. What a good man he is, Brent Clark, president, Clark's Pump and Shop. They're housing my I Don't Have to Be Me to a Monday Bloody Mary mix because that's what kind of guy Brent is. Thank you. With that said, anything else, you're going to have a beverage with something, you're going to have some Superior Catfish. It's going to be delivered to your house. Go to store.superiorcatfish.com. Great folks over there in Macon, Mississippi, just like my guest today, Brent Clark. And visit Mississippi.org. He has celebrated the birthplace of America's music for a lot of years now, every June in our foundation event. A giver, as I've said, just such a rare breed. All right, Brent, we're talking about the foundation, the building, and here you go. You guys are getting on a roll with Clark's Pump and Shop. You got your gas. You've been putting gas in. Now you're acquiring these places where it was gas. Now you got the stores. And then are you upgrading these facilities to create that look that y'all have right now that's so cool along the way?
Yeah, we basically we've probably been doing it for 15 years now when we kind of changed our footprint of our store and we went to a 2,800 square foot store. Now we're up to what we'd like to do is like a 4,900 square foot store if we had the property. But yeah, basically we have gone in on most of our lots are big enough we can build a new store and keep the old store open.
Oh, wow.
And then they're only closed a day or two, switching over and tearing down. And we changed store design a little bit, but if you go in all of our stores, I'm going to say 95% of them, they're all laid out exactly alike.
Wow, that's a heck of a cost to do all of that when you really find sort of your brand and what it needs to look like, and you want that consistency, right? Mm-hmm. When you guys are looking at those numbers, I guess you have to look at long term, right?
Oh yeah, we've got, and we invest. Years and years ago, we would go in when we remodeled. We would do, we'd tile the bathrooms from floor to ceiling. Just an easier way to keep them clean. They would last longer that way. They were nicer as far as just aesthetically to the customer. The lighting with the LED lighting nowadays. It's just a brighter store, a safer store for, most females. We basically pride ourselves and our company. And when you go in one of our stores, you can actually go to the restroom and not be afraid.
Man, I love that. That is just so important. I was a guy on the road in the back of a bus forever, Yeah. And so when we take our kids and when Gwen would go with us at times, I always wanted to make sure that we stopped somewhere that was really clean, first of all. Yeah. And second, you felt comfortable with them roaming for a little bit.
Yeah, used to, if you're driving around, you'd have to go to the bathroom. You'd try to stop at a hotel and act like you're checking in. Yeah. Where's that public restroom here?
I'll still do that at McDonald's every once in a while. Yeah. And then I'll feel guilty and run around and go through the drive-thru and get a Diet Coke when we're on trips. Hey, I want to say something because you don't know this about me. We didn't know each other at this early stage, but I was endorsed and the brand ambassador in North America for ExxonMobil, and my bus was the On the Run stores.
Really?
Right? And they were trying to convert Tiger Marts to On the Run to just show you guys had it figured out better than they did. I can say that now because proof's in the pudding. They were all about coffee and trying to get people in there, and the stores were all the same, and the bus was On the Run, and there I was with everything and the colors of the blue and the yellow and everything that they were going with. But it obviously with a company the size of ExxonMobil, and with DDB in New York, the great marketing folks, they seem to struggle to convert these Tiger Marts, and it didn't seem to work out like they planned. Right. Now, I still see them in certain parts of the country, but not like I think that they were anticipating. So for you guys to be able to continue this growth, what do you think you attribute it to?
Well, I mean, the one thing we've always done, and we started it mainly here in our tri-state area in our home, where the bulk of our stores are, is we give back to every community that we're in.
Yeah, no fooling.
And so literally from every gym you can go into, we probably have a sign in. Every program from football, basketball, baseball fields, soccer fields, whatever it is, scoreboards, we have given back.
Yeah.
And we feel that, being a part of that community with that store in there is what makes our company as well. And we have, just with giving back, and then it's a matter of, we started advertising on the radio, and Rick and I would do the commercials. And so all of our friends would hear us and, crack up at hearing us and doing it. And then when we went to Lexington in the central Kentucky area and Georgetown and all that, we did the same thing. And then we just started, we had to get a footprint to where people didn't have to drive to us, to find us.
Yeah.
So by December of last year, we opened 5 brand new stores in the Lexington, central Kentucky market.
Wow.
And that kind of gave us more of a footprint. So we expanded our advertising. Of course, with UK, I think it brings a really good respect and
Right.
and recognition. We not only in NIL, but with JMI. So we get stadium sponsorship, Rep Arena sponsorship. We get the players with the NIL. We do commercials with them. Have you seen the new one with the?
Yeah, man. That's the coolest commercial. Yeah. The guys are great, man. It's so good.
Yeah. So, we get the players that we want, and it's really good. We got a lot of good people that work on that stuff and produce it, think of it, come up with it. There's just too many people to name, but
yeah,
so
I've gotten to work with Mark. He's been fantastic to work with.
He is
fantastic. Fantastic.
He lays out our stores and he does all of our buying.
Yeah.
And so, just like you and I talked and back, I don't know, several years ago, 5, 6, 7, people would come to me or Rick and say, hey, I got this blah, 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 whatever, new water, new energy drink and whatever. And so we talked to Mark and Mark's like, I don't know. And, so we would always say, well, let's just give it a try. They guarantee that if it doesn't sell, they're going to buy it back and, things like that.
Man, we didn't do that. I really feel bad. Keep going. I'll do whatever you tell me. Go ahead.
I knew what, with your Bloody Mary mix that we don't have that in our stores. It's a brand new item. It's not an energy drink. It's not a water. It's not something,
I love
health bar or something that everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
It's not a beef jerky, which is everywhere, so it's fresh and it's new and I love it too. So
I know you love it. I love that you love it. And I've seen it where you put it in the store. There's Pepsi and there's I Don't Have to Be Meat on Monday Bloody Mary mix. I just love it. I love it. Hey, let's take a quick break and we got a short segment left and I want to make sure we dig into some things. My pal Brent Clark, he is a special man, Clark's Pump and Shop. Fantastic. So when you're on the road in Florida, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, that's where you stop. A lot of blue in their brand. I can tell you that for a particular reason and for all reasons, all good reasons. Speaking of anything good you want to put on your plate, it's Superior Catfish. It's homegrown and produced in Mississippi. Come on. Why would you get it anywhere else? And visit Mississippi.org. Plan a trip on the Country Music Trail marker. I am blessed to have a marker down here in Greenville, Mississippi in front of Jim's Cafe. And but there are some special folks on there who have done a lot more in the world of music than I have. And grateful to be a part of that. Please check it out. We'll be right back with my pal, Brent Clark.
And the best that I can hope for is that someday I'll be free. And somewhere in this loneliness, I'll find me. I'll find me. I'll find. There ain't no street in this town. And I wonder, I'm still trying to find my way around.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Oh, I'm trying to find my way.
We've sent that rib right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
To the car, he dust off every bottle until each one shined. Still recall his small ball hit and his big white buckshot knife. Johnny Lee was short, his wife, she raised me most of my life. So proudly kept and cleaned the house in that store.
Short segment left, SuperiorCatfish.com. Ain't nothing short about that. Check my friends out there. Produced in Mississippi. That's the catfish you want to have on your table. And visit Mississippi.org, the birthplace of America's music. Need I say more? My guest today, my pal Brent Clark, Clark's Pump and Shop over in Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Florida. Spends a lot of his time in Mississippi now with Ole Miss games when they play Ole Miss, or if they play state, or if they play if they come down to play a little golf here at the Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event, where he is the most generous man, and I love him so much. I appreciate him. We're talking about Clark's Pump and Shop. So when you're in those areas, please visit them, and let that be your stop for gasoline, clean bathrooms, etc. It's a special guy that's doing special things, him and Rick. All right. Let's finish this story and wrap it up. We got about 6.5 minutes. This brand and everything that your dad starts, and then did you ever feel pressure about making sure that you guys didn't screw up everything that he started? Or was it always a given that you guys were raising this business, there's no way we're going to mess this up?
Since we purchased the stores from Dad, it was we never had any pressure. We never had any doubt that we were on the right track. What we're doing is the right thing. Our biggest competitor, of course, is Speedway. Now it's 7-Eleven. And
wow, I hadn't heard that name. I don't hear that name a lot.
We love competing against them. Yeah. They're a huge company. They can't do the things we do. Yeah, they can throw the money at it, but it's just not the same.
I don't think they can get as personal with folks as you guys can.
I don't, and that's the difference in our people. Our people in our stores make our stores, and that's basically where it starts. You give them a good product and a good environment to work in, and you can attract some really good people. And we've got people that's worked for us. We got office people that's worked 35 years, 45, 50 even. And then we've got store managers that's been with us 20 to 30 years.
See, that's unheard of. Yeah. And your business, is that unheard of? It's got to be a turnaround, right?
It's not for us, but the employee side is different. The customer service rep, cashier, whatever, however you want to say it. Those, in the Central Kentucky market, there's so much competition. They can leave you today.
Hop around a little bit. They got their own. They're in the portal.
Yeah. But when you're in the smaller communities, and in the rural America, there's not as much opportunity. So we tend to keep the employees. We'll have hourly people that's been there 10 years. Wow. I send out birthday cards, postcards, happy birthday to every employee that we have that's been with us more than 1 year. Okay. And
the little keys to success. You're building these blocks right now. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So weekly, I mail these cards out and personally sign them and put how long they've worked for us, things like that. And every year they get one. That's amazing. They don't get a discount with it. They don't get a coupon. It's just a card in the mail that says happy birthday from our family, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
But it's the people that make it. It really is. And that's what we enjoy with it. Rick loves it. He loves working with the people. He loves the advertising aspect of it. And just growing what we've done and what Dad started, what Mom started. It's just it's a good feeling when you see the people that they have nice vehicles, they have nice homes. And they're a part of it. It's just, we didn't give them anything. They've earned every bit of it through the years. We can continue through another generation. that would be the ultimate goal. And,
Sure.
But it's different today. Things are different. They're much faster. They didn't grow up in it like we did.
Yeah.
So it is different, and it's a big learning curve.
Sure.
Where for us, it was just more of, okay, Dad, when you gonna,
turn over the keys.
Yeah.
We're ready to roll.
when do I get the car?
Yeah. Well, you guys were driving at the age of 7.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking a Mississippi Minute with me.
Mm-hmm.
You're a special man.
This has been fun. I enjoy it.
Give Rick a big hug for me. And we can't wait to see you guys again. My pal Brent Clark, president at Clark's Pump and Shop, when you're in West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, parts of Florida, that's where you want to stop. And when you go in there, you're going to feel the love of not only his immediate family, but the family that he has created, 700 plus workers. And you think about all of their families and the effect that they have made, an impact on their lives. Pretty dang special. Thank you so much, Brent.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Superior Catfish is the reason, and visit Mississippi.org. I get to have my pals on, folks like Brett Clark. I'm Steve Azar. I'll see you later.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.